Hi everyone, I'm Sarah and this is Budgetsew, where we create stylish, fashionable looks as inexpensively as possible. Today is December 5th and the 5th day of Vlogmas. Vlogmas is a holiday event where YouTube creators such as myself post a video every day in December leading up to Christmas. Today we're going to make chromed pine cone ornaments for Christmas. Just a quick note before we get started. Today I'm wearing McCall's 6355. The link to the video with that top is right here at the top of the screen. When I was a child, we had decorated pine cones for our Christmas tree. Some of the pine cones were dipped in glue and then rolled in glitter. Others were individually painted and the rest were varnished. They were attached to the tree with thin metal wires so that they hung underneath the branches closer to the center of the tree. My version of this craft brings back those lovely memories and creates new ones as well. So let's get started. Over the years, my parents have planted numerous coniferous trees on their property, and it's nice to see how those small evergreens have grown into magnificent trees. I remember as a child looking at one tree, a blue spruce in the center of my parents' front yard, and thinking, it will never grow. Now it's so big and tall, you can see it above all the houses. I remember my dad hauling buckets of water out to the pine trees in the backyard to keep them alive during dry periods. Some of them survived and some perished, but he never gave up, and now they have a property that they enjoy and that rivals the best parks. This past spring, I collected pine cones from my parents' property and then placed them in a big paper bag to dry them out. I closed the top of the paper bag with clothespins so that when the cones opened up and dispersed their seeds, they didn't end up all over the house. You can use any type of cones for this project, but I chose pine cones and saved the blue spruce cones for another project. I used Krylon Premium Original Chrome Spray Paint to cover my pine cones. You may remember this spray paint from my McCall's Crafts Decorate Eggs video, where I spray painted eggs and covered them in sparkling decals, metallic tape, and purple and silver gift ribbon. They looked fantastic after the Krylon Premium Original Chrome Spray Paint saved the day. The link to my McCall's Crafts Decorate Eggs video is at the top of the screen. I didn't buy this paint, rather my dad was kind enough to give me this unused can of spray paint from his supply. He didn't need it anymore and he didn't want it to go to waste. This spray paint had excellent coverage. Be sure to read all the instructions before using this product or another spray paint, and make sure that you are in a well-ventilated area when spraying. I spray painted my pine cones outside and wore a mask doing so. Once I had spray painted as much of the cone that I could, I waited a few minutes until the spray paint was dry and then rolled all the cones over so I could paint the other side. If your cones need more than one coat, or if you missed spots, apply another coat so that they really sparkle. Before I continue with the chromed pine cone ornaments for Christmas, please like and share this video with your friends and family. I would love to help others sew and refashion on a budget and troubleshoot their favorite patterns. I also love sharing the treasure that I find at thrift shops. If you'd like to see more from Budgetsew, please subscribe and make sure that the bell is on so you receive a notification when I release a new video. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Budgetsew. Now, back to the ornaments. Once the spray paint had dried, I stored all the pine cones in a shoebox so that they wouldn't get damaged. Don't worry about the 9 West shoes. I still have them and they are safe. My next step was to add thread to hang the pine cones so that they dangled from the Christmas tree branches. My parents' pine cones were wired to the tree, but these pine cones weren't big enough for that method. I used black thread as hangers. I used black Coats & Clark all-purpose dual-duty thread that I bought from Value Village thrift store. This thread was in a big bag of brand new Coats & Clark thread for $1.99. I think that there were 20 spools of black and white thread, so it was quite a steal. I checked the thread before buying it, and it was very strong and newer than some of the thread in my sewing box. If you don't want to use thread, then you could use some pretty ribbon instead, or maybe some lace seam binding, or string, or gift ribbon. The possibilities are endless. I cut a piece of thread about 8 inches or 20 centimeters long, but I didn't measure it. I knotted the end of the thread, and then I hot glue gunned the knotted end to the top of the pine cone. If you look very carefully at the pine cones, you'll see another project underneath them. So stay tuned to Budgetsew for that craft. Here are the finished pine cones. Enjoyed making these chromed pine cone ornaments for Christmas with me. Please like and share this video with your friends and family. I love sharing my new, vintage, and out-of-print sewing patterns and my tips, tricks, quick fixes, and even my mistakes when sewing along with you. I also love sharing my wonderful fabric finds that I thrifted from charity shops, as well as brand new fabric online and in-store. If you'd like to see more from Budgetsew, please subscribe and press the bell so you receive a notification when I release a new video. If you'd like to stay up to date with Budgetsew, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Budgetsew. Thanks for watching. See you next time.